I don't see GTA 6 costing $100, and if it is gonna cost $100, it'd be absolutely ridiculous. Games are already costing like $70, $80, on top of the fact that they're littered with microtransactions that are costing, what, 20 bucks around that price point? Like, let's be real here, it's just a little too silly. And I know that they said like, oh, I really, that the gaming community and shit like that is just, or like most of the businesses themselves are sitting there crossing their fingers and hoping it's actually going to be a thing, because then they'll be able to charge more money. And I'm like, yeah, I get that, but who in their right fucking mind is going to sit there and pay $100 for a game? Because most games don't even feel like they're worth $70. So how exactly are you gonna be expecting people to pay that much money for a game? It's just unrealistic. It's like the games are monetized the way that they are is because at this point the entry price is 70 bucks, and then whenever you get into multiplayer or whatever the case may be, you get monetized the fuck too. If you want to take a perfect example of that, have no further look than Call of Duty. You spend $70 on the game and then you log into it and the average bundle is $24 to $28. With some of them during the Modern Warfare 3 launch window, you even had some of them go as far as to $36 and $32. Right? The Black Cell edition for Call of Duty, every single season they're paying $30 for a season pass. Now, I know that there's plenty, the reason why it's happening is because people are constantly paying for it, so there is a market for it. But at the end of the day, it's still ridiculously silly that the gaming industry is already monetizing the ever-living crap out of stuff, and then to sit there and cross their fingers that they can actually charge $100 for it. Like, I understand if it was a case of like, oh, it's a single-player game only and they're trying to make their bucks. I mean, you have the special editions and stuff that, you're frankly probably overpaying for anyways, because all you're getting is just an extra digital item or two. But most of the time, those digital items are frankly not really worth the additional price. That's why they then shifted their way to having like early access, which is the latest trend, where you can pay for 3 days early access, which just translates to, yeah, the game was already done, it is already finished. But yeah, how about you just simply go and pay more for it? It's just silly. That's just it. There's nothing else to it. It's just more and more and more and more greed that the businesses are hoping for, because the fact of the matter is pretty simple. The gaming industry has to find new ways to grow their businesses, because they've already reached such unprecedented growth that they're seemingly just unable to go any higher. They've basically plateaued and are trying to see if they can squeeze more blood out of the stone, and it's just, silly. I understand that you're a business and you're trying to make money, but I think that as the gaming industry grows and more copies are being sold, and you're already getting record high like profits and stuff like that, at what point do you need more? I mean, I know that that's actually a silly thing to say, because they always need more. It's a business and they have to drive up their stock price. On the side note, I'm glad I did this mission. Drove all this way to make $1,800. And then I cannot even use the Patriot vehicle for anything later, and I'm just stuck in the middle of nowhere with a shit car. That is just lovely. Anyways, fellas, is it coping with modern gaming to play old games? I don't know if it's coping per se, but I mean, the gaming industry as a whole has just changed in such a massive way over like the last couple of years. I mean, especially like since the COVID times, where they suddenly realized that games as a service is like, oh shit, that is a lot of money we can make. the amount of people that basically started playing games and stuff like that during COVID times and basically had that like $1,200 severance check, and they spent it all in a month on like, you know, microtransactions instead of where it was meant for. Gaming companies saw that and thought, hey, our stock prices are going up. Everyone then suddenly had like expectations of that kind of growth staying forever, which is just simply not the case. What we're left with is an industry that is continuously trying to make more and more and more and more and more and more and more money, while on the back of like what is effectively just, you know, consumers that frankly are dealing not only with this rising costs in everything. I guess in like a lot of ways, like the gaming industry just kind of has like plateaued in so many ways, and they're just desperately trying to grasp on anything to try to see if they can squeeze out some more dollars. And when it isn't really working out, which is currently kind of happening, you know, this is kind of the stuff they start hoping for. It's like, oh, pretty please let the most anticipated game of all time be $100. I think I speak for most folks that are working a 9 to 5. Paying $70 for a game nowadays is, you know, a choice that they have to make, right? I mean, like I said, the rising cost of living and everything like that, and most people who just, you know, earn an average and or minimum salary, the largest part of the working force is probably in that ballpark. So then starting to charge an additional $30 on top of all the other BS, like the 3-day early access and whatever, like where you're charging like $120 for a game so you can play 3 days early, which is frankly just the actual release date. You're like, okay, well, are we not kind of like taking the piss? I understand that you're trying to find new ways of making money, and the early access thing, as you know, I guess at this point is here to stay, because again, like with the microtransactions and the everything, it is working out. That is the sad reality, I suppose, of the gaming industry. And GTA 6 costing $100. I mean, never say never, but I think it doesn't really make any sense for Rockstar to even go and do that. Because why would they, when their proven concept comes down to, hey, if we pay like $70 or whatever much it is that they're charging for it, and then, you know, monetize the fuck out of online, which they are undoubtedly going to do. Rockstar also very much set the trend with GTA Online and how they went about with that, right? Like, GTA Online is one of the 2 reasons why we have the gaming landscape as we do now. Case in point, the, you know, optional microtransactions, and I guess Fortnite is responsible for the item shops. But no, like I was trying to say, I don't personally think that GTA 6 is going to cost $100 for the simple reason that it doesn't really make much sense to try to raise the price when you have a proven concept. But at the same time, you know, if there's anything that we've learned over the years, is that if there's one thing that will never really change, it's corporate greed and trying to squeeze out every single dollar and penny that they can. The $60-$70 price tag is a realistic one. I know the PlayStation exclusives for some reason tend to be $80. I don't know why. I guess I just try to squeeze out every penny again, but time will tell. But I personally don't think so. I mean, obviously, I can see why, you know, video game execs are sitting there, oh, let's hope Rockstar will do another thing, but because then it's their fault, right, and not their else's, but we'll see.